Good morning, guys. It's Tuesday, August 3rd. We're out here. It's 6 a.m. and our ram pump shut off again. Wonderful news. We got to get this going before I head off to work today. Got to get these animals water. We're going to head up and give the pigs a bunch of kitchen scraps, a bunch of yellow kale, and we're going to try to get this water going. We keep getting this spraying, and I'm not sure what that is. Don't feel anything down there. Shut the valve off here, see if that does anything. Don't feel anything in there. Sometimes you just get a little piece of dirt or a stone, and that's all it takes. I wonder how long this was off. There goes nothing. Until it's still spitting air, you can hear it. There we go. All right, well, while this is running, we're gonna circle around. We're gonna head up to our tank and see how much water is in there. That'll kind of give us an indicator on how long this was actually running last night. Worst case scenario, I can always grab buckets like I used to do. So it's not like they're not gonna have water, but obviously that is a real pain. Morning, pig. Little snack for you guys. Really, the reason we give the snack is just kitchen scraps. Is if you've ever been around that many pigs, they'll knock you around. They are just a solid hunk of muscle. So it's something you just kind of keep them out of the way, keep them occupied. Not that they're going to necessarily be aggressive. Really not much concern there, but it's just they're strong animals, so they're gonna push you around. Especially Ziggy, he's a good 250 for sure. All right, so this is positive. We have a full tank. It's still clicking down there. I'm gonna get the water on now. We're gonna get these animals watered. You can hear it going into the tank. Right now we're in business. Morning, sheep. All right, animals have water. We're in business there. We're gonna quick check the trail cam, see if we have any predators, and then off to work, guys. It's Thursday. All right. So we changed our location on our trail cam. We just weren't getting anything, so hopefully that's just the good news that nothing was there, but want to be sure. I lowered it a little bit on the post, brought it outside to the corner more, so we'll see what happens. We're in, ready to water the pigs, and I hear our pump is down again. Not sure what's going on here, but we're going to talk about a ram pump anyway, so this will work out. Some troubleshooting as well. Bonus. So this might seem simple, but we moved the broody hen again tonight. We still haven't figured out our egg mystery. Moved the hen, took her one egg and moved it to another nest box. For some reason, she's sitting where all the others would lay. They'd only lay in one nest box. We're going to see if that helps. I'm not sure, but desperate times call for desperate measures. So we're going to try it. Maybe she'll move and they'll go back in there and start laying. So I'm down in the creek bed tonight. We're going to talk about a hydraulic ram pump and why this is such a great option if you don't have power, if you don't have electricity to run some sort of pump to get water out to your pasture. So any type of off-grid situation, anything far from your house, these are a great option. Only thing you are going to need up front, you're going to need some water, whether it's running water or a pond. You're going to need water, and you're going to need some elevation drop because it is gravity fed. You don't need a lot, but you're definitely going to need some sort of slope there. So if you don't know what a hydraulic ram pump is, this is it right here. It's basically a PVC gravity fed pump that is going to drive water to your pasture. Now, we're not going to get into the technicals and the science of how it works tonight. Quite honestly, I'm still figuring that out myself. But the basics are a couple PVC fittings, some ball valves on each end to shut off and on, and then you have this little valve here that's going to allow water. And right now I have it off because I said it wasn't working. It shut down on us. So we're going to leave it in the off position. I'm letting the drive pipe fill up, but we're going to get into how this works on a basic level tonight, and really show you how valuable this is to our homestead. I know it's getting dark. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this. We're at the top. Figure that's the best place to start. We'll show you the setup from the top on down. So ours is coming right from a pipe that comes from our spring. So we have plenty of flowing water here. Again, very important that you have some sort of water supply, which is going to be higher than your pump. It can be flowing water as much as a small creek, which that's what this is. It's a small spring-fed creek. Very little water flow, honestly. It's very shallow, but plenty to run this pump. A pond is even better if you have a pond that's above where you're going to put your pump. And the general rule of thumb is for every 1 foot of drop in water in your water line, you're going to get 7 feet of lift out of your pump. So that means you're going to be able to pump your water 7 feet vertically. That's not factoring in your horizontal pump, because this thing can pump a long way, which is why it's so valuable using it to get out on pasture. Basically what we have here at our water source is, I believe there's a 2.5 inch PVC pipe. I took a little piece of window screen here with a hose clamp, basically to create a little filter so we're not getting all sorts of sediment down in our pipe. I have it set up so it's right at the flow of the water here. I mean, you can be as fancy as you want, or I simply put a couple rocks over it to hold it in place. Very simple. Water's going to flow down that, and it's going to drop into a bucket. Now the bucket isn't necessary, and I'm going to get to that here in a second, but I use the bucket as almost like a sediment filter, and being that this water is running so fast, kind of eliminate the bubbles and the air that are going to be in that running water. The bucket does a good job kind of slowing it down and filling the pipe up without that air, because air is not going to be your friend in this situation. You're going to see that we're going to bleed air here at the bottom at the pump. You definitely don't want air in your line, or you're not going to have a continuous flow. So now I'm down here. Let me try to see if I can stop this water so you can hear me. All right. So now I'm down here where the bucket is, and you can see this bucket has all sorts of algae on it. This has been being used for a long time, but basically you're going to have your pipe from your water source coming to the top of the bucket here, and it's going to be some sort of a sediment catch, which I do empty out here and there. Just use one of these rubber bulkheads, because this thing has actually been on forever. You can see it's starting to overflow in here. That's not going to affect the flow, but I will go back and fix this then. Water is going to sit in here. This bucket is full, and then you're going to have your continued pipe coming out of your bucket right here with another rubber bulkhead, and that's going to be your main drive pipe that's going to lead right to your pump. Now it is very important that you size these pumps properly. When you look up how to set up a ram pump, basically the max drive pipe length is going to be 100 feet with your PVC. I believe you could go longer. You're just going to have to really be calculated at that point. You also don't want to go really short. You want that water to build up. To my understanding, it is a kind of a pressure thing. So somewhere between 50 and 100 feet seems to be the sweet spot from what I'm reading. Ours is closer to 100 feet there. And it is going to be size specific to your flow rate. So if you have a lot of flow like we do, you're going to look at your gallons per minute, and you're going to calculate that out accordingly, because the pumps do come in different sizes. Our pump is a medium sized pump. From what I see, is medium and the smaller are kind of the way you want to go. You really need a flow to use one of the larger ones, and if you go too big and you don't have the flow, you're just not going to get any pressure, and you're not going to get any water. So it's almost better to go smaller and then harness the water that you can. It's going to be a slow drip on the other end anyway, and you're going to see that when we get up to the pump. But smaller is probably better in this case if you're not sure. Now back to the pump here. It can be a little finicky to start up, and we've been having a couple issues, but honestly this pump's been running for several weeks without stopping. So typically it's a change in the weather that changes the flow. You get some air in your line, or you get some sticks down in this valve that stop it from running. So it's very reliable, very durable. I actually didn't use this much last summer, and quite honestly, I forgot about it. I left it in the creek bed, and it actually, you know, it froze over winter. I mean, we're in Pennsylvania here. It gets cold, especially in this little slow running creek bed. So it froze around it, and I had no issues, no cracking, no leaks. Fired right up this spring. There's a lot of ways you can construct one of these. You can build it yourself. You know, it is, look at it, it's just a simple PVC setup. But I would, you know, for the time and the technicality that goes into it, just to be sure, I think the price point's perfect to just buy one. This pump is from a company called Land to House, and I'll be sure to put them down in the description. But they're a great company. If you ever check out their page, they're gonna have a ton more detail on how these things work. But they really are a great product, and again, awesome if you don't have electricity around here. So now we're gonna get it going, and basically to start it, you see I have the valve shut. You're basically gonna open it up. You're gonna see it's gonna start clicking. And sometimes if you're lucky, you're just gonna have it running. Like right now, it's just going. But I can hear some water bleeding, so I might have to bleed that line. And we'll just wait here a second to see if it's going. And what you're looking for is consistent clicks. You get that consistent clicking, you're gonna hear that over and over and over again. And that's the water that's gonna drive up to your tank. So it seems like it's running pretty good to start. Now there's one disadvantage I would say to this. The water, once it gets flowing, it doesn't stop. So you need some sort of container, something to harness that water at the top. We use a 50-gallon drum. It does overflow, and it's kind of built in there. The pigs wallow and make a mud pit. You know, that was just because we kind of had it there. You know, I could have designed something a little differently. Eventually, I think I'm going to move it outside of the fence so the pigs can't make a mess like they have. But you're definitely going to have it. You can use multiple tanks. You know, you can plumb a couple tanks together. You could build in an overflow into almost an irrigation, a separate hose that's going to irrigate. Maybe you have a garden by. You start running some irrigation into your garden. There's a lot of options you can do there, but it's definitely going to continue to flow. So definitely plan accordingly. Not that you're going to put it next to your house. Not that you do that anyway, but you end up having a flood. You'll end up having just ponds of water, which would not be good. So please plan accordingly if you are going to set one of these up. The water is just going to keep on coming. And that's pretty much it, guys. It sounds like it's running pretty good. Our tank was full. The water was still cold, and that's a good indicator. Being that this is coming from a spring and very cold water, if our water in the tank is cold, even if this is off, we know it just recently shut off. And like I said, the tank was full, so I can't really complain. Now, yesterday when I went over, the tank was pretty low. Actually, it was almost empty, and the water was very warm. That means the pump was off for a while. That water was just baking, and that's what you don't want, because that's when you're going to start getting algae buildup. You're going to get bacteria in your water source. You don't want that. You always want your water to be flowing. You want to be using it as often as possible. So just keep that in mind as you're using these pumps. It is good to check on them. Again, we don't always have to come down in here, because we can hear it from the house very faintly. It's not that point where it's annoying, but we can still hear it if we listen for it. And then when I'm doing my normal feeding and watering, I walk kind of right through that area. You can always hear this click. I know it's getting dark, but I really wanted to get that out to you tonight. I'm really stoked to have this pump here on our farm. It just makes it so much simpler for us. Rather than, you know, I could go forward and go from our hose bib to our house and bury hose lines through our yard and get them over to the pasture. You have to worry about freezing then, cracked hoses underground. So much simpler having this in our creek. Have it run down here, it pumps up. Yeah, it shuts off from time to time. Very simple fix. You can hear it still clicking here in the back. And our tank's gonna be full. Our animals are gonna have water. All I do, turn the valve over on our tank, hose fills up the pigs, I pop the fitting off, fill the bucket, water the sheep, we're good to go. Literally takes me 2 minutes, if that. So very, very beneficial to have one of these things on your farm. Not sure if I mentioned it. Price I think was a little over $100, but again, well worth. Saves your time from having to fiddle with all the fittings, making sure it's all tight, making sure you're gonna get the correct sizing. I think $100 or 100 plus is well worth the investment there to always have water. And again, these things are durable. This thing is it's our third season with this thing. It's fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. Again, check out Land to House. That is the company we got ours from. There are other companies. There are ways to do your own, like I mentioned, but Land to House is this one. Highly recommend it, guys. And like I said, it's getting late. It's getting dark. Nights are getting darker earlier, which certainly kind of stinks. It's part of August, and as we roll into September, it's going to become more and more. But that's it for tonight. Really wanted to get that out to you. If you like what we're doing, guys, please support what we're doing. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, give us a good thumbs up. Please leave your comments below. Any questions, comments, we love to hear from you. Looking forward to doing something fun over the weekend, so stay tuned. We'll be in touch. Enjoy your Thursday. Thanks, guys.